What is up, y'all? Today, I am live streaming. I'm on live. And I will be showing you, just me playing Godzilla de Kaiju. That's not the main thing. The main thing is, I will actually be explaining how Godzilla to Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire. Because it came out, and basically I'm going to be telling you how everything went. And, yeah. So, I'm just gonna get to this. Alright, so, Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, basically begins with peaceful music in the background, with Kong being chased by a bunch of, basically begins off with Kong being chased by a bunch of wart dogs in the Hollow Earth. He basically almost dies, almost falls to his death when he tries to jump across the cliff, but he is able to survive, because, of course, plot armor, that's like the main thing about it, is like plot armor. So, Kong gets chased down and basically gets extremely pissed off to the point where he actually gets extremely mad, takes a wart dog, picks it up in the air, and then lifts it up in the air and starts screaming like a freaking maniac, and then it pulls on the wart dog so bad, the wart dog begins to start like whimpering in pain until the thing literally like bursts in half with pieces of it, like its organs and blood and stuff raining down on Kong's body. And basically Kong starts screaming at them, and it gets so bad to the point where the wart dogs don't even want to kill Kong anymore, because they have just been like scared off. So they basically run off, scared shitless, and then they basically run off. And because they're smart like that, they know what they're doing. They're like, I don't know if I want to mess with this guy. Otherwise, our homie died like that, so I don't think we want to mess with him. And basically, Kong, or them, we go up into, oh wait, no, before that, basically, when Kong goes over to a hill, because he took a shower, because the guy was basically like all green and stuff, and basically was went to go in the river and chill there for a little bit, so that way he could get all cleaned off. And then he takes the wart dog, like pieces of the wart dog with him, and then starts eating it. He breaks his tooth, and then he realizes that the other half of the wart dog is starting to move. So then he starts like getting really annoyed, because he then realizes it's Doug, the legend, the goat, the main guy, the legend, the goat, legend, the goat, Doug, or Titanus Douglas. That's what I call him. And basically, he then runs off with the food because Kong is like beaten from because they basically had like a tug of war with each other. They basically had a tug of war. So they all just Doug runs off with the other half of the wart dog, and then Kong has like this very pissed off look on his face. Or not angry, but like this very sad, disappointed look on his face. He has this very disappointed look on his face. So then he just starts getting really angry. Oh, thanks, Ethan. Great. Keep streaming, bro. You'll eventually become famous. I'm starting to, so. But I have a long journey. Man. But thanks for raising my confidency. Anyways. Oh crap, we got 5 people in the chat. Basically, he starts roaring, but then he hears like another roar. And then he's like, is that another me? So then he goes off to see what's going on. Like what's happening. Because he thinks it's another species or another member of his kind. And basically, he runs off, or basically, he then jumps off of this hill, and then realizes it's this creature known as a parrot frog. Kong, of course, is extremely mad by this, because he's like, I know this guy. I know this creature did not just mock me. That's like, Kong took that like how someone says, you know how someone says, like, oh, you'll forever be lonely. That's kind of, that to me, in my eyes, that's what the parrot frog did. I'm surprised Kong didn't just rage on the thing and then kill it. And then we go up into the surface world, where Godzilla is battling against this creature known as Scylla. And Godzilla basically kills Scylla by tossing her across the city, and then when Scylla tries to, try and bite, or not bite, but tries to like keep Godzilla's mouth shut, Godzilla then gets really angry and then basically shoots his atomic blast down Scylla's throat, causing Scylla's body to literally just burst and freaking explode in pieces. And then it leaves green goo on Godzilla's body, which looks absolutely disgusting. And it kind of looks like, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of does look like guacamole or something. I'm not gonna lie. Then, shortly after, Godzilla, like, chills in the Coliseum. And then Godzilla is basically Godzilla is just basically taking a nap in the Coliseum. Doing his own thing. Doing his own thing. Chilling. Chilling. Doing his own thing. Not meaning any harm. And Kong basically comes up on to the surface world and then goes over to see what's going on. And then the then Kong comes up on land because his tooth is broken, and basically he takes a nap. And then chills there with his mouth open, which there's a high chance that he caught flies with his mouth being open. And basically and then they jump into Kong's mouth, and then one of the dudes jump into Kong's mouth and then pulls out the tooth, and then they replace it with a silver tooth, and then they have a rebuilt Heave that they could use, and then they jump down into the hollow earth. They go down into the hollow earth. So then Kong goes somewhere else. Meanwhile, those other guys are actually, I think, on Skull Island, because that's what it looks like. Because it did say. I'm not sure. In this movie, I already watched 6 times. And Kong is basically hanging off of a ledge, right? But then we cut to these guys arguing, and then this one guy is over here screaming, and he's like, "I will take that camera and shove it right up your ass." And then basically the guy rages. He's like, "I'm in charge!" And then basically this weird tree-looking thing. I'm pretty sure they're in Skull Earth. What the? I was about to say Skull Earth, Skull Island. And basically this freaking tree-looking thing, or this mantis that looks like a tree, it's like a giant bug that looks like a tree, and basically the guy gets immediately destroyed by getting bitten, and then gets pulled in. Meanwhile, Kong walks through somewhere, and he jumps down into a hole, and he finds that there is another he goes over, and then he realizes that when he's over there, because he took his axe with him, he's over there, and he basically sees this big ass silhouette. It's like a giant silhouette, and Kong of course has his axe up because he's confused, and he doesn't know what it is. So when he tries to attack, he realizes it's actually a baby Kong. It's a baby monkey. It's another monkey. And basically, Kong is then kind of curious and then sticks his hand out to the little guy, because that's what he did with Gia, where he would have his hand out and basically Gia would, but instead Suko bites onto his freaking hand. The little bastard bites onto his hand, and then the little guy then runs off. And then he turns around. Then Kong turns around and realizes there's another dirty, stinking ape. There's another dirty, stinking ape. And basically, they then, and then, now that they realize there is another dirty, stinking ape, and basically, and basically, the ape basically has an axe, a baseball bat, getting ready to pound Kong right in his face, until Kong is confused, and then he turns around, and then out of nowhere he gets tackled by these two Kongs. One tackles him to the floor, and then another shoves his face into the dirt. Another shoves his face into the dirt. And then Kong is then kind of annoyed, and then he begins to start attacking the apes. There's one that's trying to beat him with the bat, but then friendly fire, because Kong turns, and then instead the ape beats another ape with blood, it looks like, covered all over his body, and basically that one then falls into the ground. And then Kong finds Suko, or he tries to grab his axe, and then, but then Suko, out of nowhere, like a menace, just freaking pounces onto Kong's face and starts attacking him like an angry cat, until Kong pulls him off and then drags his face into the dirt. And then Kong at that point is kind of annoyed. At that point he's kind of annoyed with the other apes, and then he starts using Suko like a freaking baseball bat. Starts freaking beating the other apes with the baseball bat. Or, not with a baseball bat, with Suko. Using Suko as a blunt object. And then a bunch of them get knocked out, and then Kong throws Suko into a tree. And one tries to stab Kong until Kong knocks that one off of a cliff, and then that one gets helped because Kong felt bad and then it saved him. But then Kong has had enough and is not showing any sympathy, and then just takes the ape and then throws him off of the cliff. And he had to do it. Hey, it's the circle of life, man. He had to do it. He just had to. He had to. And then once all the apes are like defeated, there's one that's trying to run away, and then Kong throws a rock at it, but then it gets right back up and then roars at Kong and then runs back to the Scar King's lair, which is where this is leading into. Basically, Zuko and Kong try to make it to the lair, but then Zuko actually tries to get Kong killed by sending him to this place, by like leading him to this place where there's a drowned viper, and basically everything seems peaceful, at least for Kong. Like everything seems normal. There's nothing suspicious going on until Kong and not the wart dog, the drowned viper begin to start battling, and then Kong basically takes takes his axe and then chomps the John Viper's head straight off, but that's off screen. And then basically the creatures are basically what happens is what am I trying to say now? Basically what happens is they continue to try and go over there, and then they cross this giant bridge with something with it's a bridge made out of a giant skeleton, like a giant kaiju skeleton. Kind of what it is. And basically they make it to the Scar King's lair, where there's a bunch of apes, and Kong is kind of surprised and kind of hang out and trying to communicate with the other apes. But there's one that gets kicked in the face by this one bulky ape. This one bulky. I need to stop calling them apes. I mean, they kind of are great apes. There's one great ape that freaking kicks this one's face into the dirt, and then basically starts bullying it. And basically Kong puts his axe down and then helps that other one out. Because, he felt bad. So, then Kong... Then... Kong tries to help that other ape out, but then things start getting nasty. I don't want to say it like that, but things start getting violent, where that same bulky great ape starts yelling at Kong and hollering at him basically. But Kong is not taking that disrespect. Kong is not taking that disrespect. So basically Kong punches this great ape for that great ape screaming in his face like a freaking he ain't got no damn sense. And basically that, and then there's another great ape upstairs that is like realizing that there's like a new member, and basically he's coming to tell the Scar King only to get his face shoved in the dirt by those other apes. And then that's when we see the Scar King. The Scar King then roars, and you can see that the other Great Apes are like deadly terrified of Scar King. And then Scar King comes out looking mean as hell and basically starts. Oh, what's the name of the game? It's Godzilla Godzilla Day Kaiju Battle Royale. And that's basically the game that I'm playing. Anyway, okay. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, man. No problem. Anyway, the Scar King basically starts battling the Scar King then sees that there's an ape, and he walks around looking mean as hell, and then he walks up to Kong, looking at him kind of funny, like a sort of like confused look. And then he goes up to Kong with like this confused look on his face, which I can't blame him. I would be confused too. And basically, he sees that there's like this metal thing in Kong's mouth. And then Kong realizes that is a metal tooth. And then Scar King begins to start like pointing and booing and laughing at Kong. Meanwhile, all the apes all the other apes start to laugh at him as well. And then when Zuko starts laughing, Scar King turns around and starts screaming at Zuko, like, I know you ain't laughing. And basically, Zuko begins to start getting scared, kind of scared, and I can see why. And then there's this ape that is standing up for Zuko against the Scar King. The Scar King is not too pleased of this, and then gets all bent out of shape, and then looks at Kong with this creepy look. And then that tells Kong and alerts him that Scar King's up to no good. He is up to no good whatsoever. And are you talking about how Godzilla and Kong... Oh, yeah. I'm talking about how Godzilla and Kong, the New Empire, starts. And I'm over here live streaming because I can't record because then my footage is gonna end up cutting out. So I have to instead go live, which I think going live is better. But you don't have to watch if you don't want to be spoiled. If you don't want to be spoiled, because I tell a lot of details about this. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, Kong or Scar King basically does a backwards kick and then knocks in the other ape or another ape, like the ape that was protecting Suko, which I was thinking maybe that was Suko's mother. Maybe that was not Suko's caretaker. Some of my friends are saying that that's Suko's caretaker, but I think that was like Suko's mom. Or even Suko's dad, but I think Suko's dad is actually the Scar King, because they both look extremely similar. Anyways, the Scar King does a backwards kick and then kicks the other Kong into lava. And basically kicks this, like, the Suko's mom into like a river of boiling hot lava. I'm just gonna call that Suko's mom because I think that is. I mean, there are a few female Kongs, and basically Suko is then like losing his shit. He's over here like crying. To me, it looks like he's like crying. And basically, he has had enough of like the disrespect and him being like treated this way, treated like a slave. So he starts like sort of whimpering and crying as well. And then Kong is not pleased with this. He is not okay with that. And then he actually starts roaring at Scar King. And then Scar King roars back at him. And then Scar King basically starts whipping Kong with the whip until Kong gets a hold of the crystal on the tip of the whip, which that's going to be important later. He grabs a hold of the crystal on the whip and but Scar King pulls it, and then it actually like cuts King Kong's hand open. Actually cuts his hand open. And basically Scar King or Kong is then extremely mad and then starts attacking Kong, or starts attacking Scar King, and then Scar King begins to start like smiles at Kong, and then Kong tries to chomp Scar King's head off, but Scar King actually dodges the axe. And the Scar King starts like getting really mad at Kong, and then takes the whip and then wraps it around Kong's neck and then yanks on it while like pinning him to the floor, or not to the ground, but like shoving his face, or but like pushing him forward. And then Kong is over here choking. Meanwhile, Zuko is still like scared. He's afraid that Kong is gonna die, and that was just a huge waste of time. And Zuko's over here worried. But then Kong actually is able to take him off, or take Scar King off, and then starts picking him up with one hand, slamming him to the ground. Like this is WWE Finals. And then he ends to start slamming Scar King like this is WWE Finals. And basically, Scar King starts roaring, or Kong starts roaring in victory, and then Scar King has his crystal tip, and then starts pointing it at Shimu, or rather pushing the rocks and stuff, like a giant rock. And basically Kong realizes that this is a deadly weapon known as Shimu, a giant ice titan. Basically, it's something like Godzilla, but put it this way, basically Godzilla, but with ice powers, basically. That's basically what Shimu is. Or an ice version of Anguirus. And then Scar King starts pointing it at Kong and then at Shimu. And then Shimu then shoots her Frostbite Blast, her main weapon. And then the Frostbite Blast is so cold, it freezes Kong's hand in place. It freezes it in place. Basically freezes Kong's arm in place. And basically Kong is in pain. His hand is all frozen, and he just everything's a mess for him. At least that's what it seems like to me. So then he runs off. Meanwhile, Shimo does it again, using her Frostbite Blast again. And basically, Shimo misses Kong with the Frostbite Blast, and then Kong runs off because Zuko is actually pointing out the entrance. Meanwhile, Scar King then sends a bunch of apes after Kong. There's one with a knife, and then there's another one with a bone for a baseball bat, I think. And one of the Kongs tried to jump down and stab Kong, but then he loses his knife and accidentally stabs it into the ground instead. And then Kong then makes it with his life, because that could have killed him. That could have been bad. He could have died, but luckily he didn't. And then basically Shimo, or what the freak? Then Kong survives because there's a bunch. Those apes that were chasing him. A bunch of them get crushed by rocks. They don't die, but they just get crushed by rocks. They get knocked out by rocks, thanks to Zuko. And basically, what Zuko does is does the similar thing what Kong does by pounding his chest and screaming to assert his dominance. And basically, Zuko runs off. But also, he doesn't leave Kong behind. And then, Kong, a few minutes later, Kong shows up to, this place that they're at. And basically, they realize that he's hurt. And Kong starts doing sign language, and then they realize that Kong is calling for help, saying doing these symbols. A classic. Thanks, bro. Thanks. A classic game. I know that's right. You can't mess with classics. I know that's right. You could not mess with classics. This game's also very nostalgic to me as well. Anyway, Goji, you are new to this stream, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, we're basically playing Godzilla de Kaiju, and also Godzilla de Kaiju Battle Royale, and basically I will be talking about and explaining how Godzilla x Kong went and what I remember from the movie, even though it came out 2 months ago, 2 to 3 months ago, I think. And then this is where Kong gets his new mechanical arm brace. His new mechanical arm brace thingy. And basically the Beast Glove, actually. That's what it's called. And he basically has electrical properties in it. But there is one thing that I really want Kong to have, electrical abilities where he could shoot beams from his hands and stuff. I think that sounds pretty cool. What they did back in the day in 1962, where Kong would have these crazy electrical powers that would be able to burn Godzilla's skin. And basically, anyways, Kong punches the ground. It shows an electrical impact. Beast Glove basically stands for Bio-enhanced Seismic Thunder Glove. Is that what it? Yeah, it stands for that. It should. And it's the Beast Glove is basically created from pieces of Mechagodzilla, because they basically took the scraps of Mechagodzilla, melted it, broken it down, and basically they're using pieces of Mechagodzilla to create the Beast Glove. So basically Mechagodzilla is on Kong's arm. That's what it looks like to me. Which, to me, that's kind of morbid. That's like me using, like, my ancestors' skulls as, like, Halloween decorations. Like, that's kind of morbid. That's kind of messed up. Anyway, um, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Basically, the Beast Glove is creating from pieces of Mechagodzilla. And now they're using it for Kong to use in defense. Speaking of Kong and the Beast Glove, you could go watch my review, my toy review. I'm working on a playlist. I'm thinking about making a playlist. Basically, and then after that, it shows like things of Scar King, because Scar King actually stole Kong's axe by snatching it off of him with his whip in the battle. I forgot to mention that. And then it shows like more of Scar King, where Scar King is it like a line? It's like a line of these baby Kongs, and Scar King gets so mad. I think they like said something offensive to him or something. I don't get it. Like what did they say to you that made you? Because he was literally drinking the brains from a war bat. He was literally drinking the brains from a war bat. And basically he takes the warbat head and then throws it against the wall. I'm like, that warbat died for nothing. Just for you to throw it against the wall. Wow. That's actually kind of morbid. That's kind of messed up. Not gonna lie. That's kind of messed up in so many ways. Meanwhile, there's mother Kongs that are literally like hiding or covering their baby because of how Scar King is. Because he literally smashed the Warbat head against the wall. You can't tell me that is scary. It kind of is giving me flashbacks of when I ordered Little Caesars and then just throw it against the wall because, no, I didn't order Little Caesars. Wait, hold on, no. Because when we got pizza, I opened it and I looked inside. That thing barely, because on the box it showed it had like a bunch of cheese on it. They're having like a bunch of cheese on it. And basically, when I was splitting it in half when it was done cooking, I was like, that looked like a giant blob of snot. So then I just threw it against the wall. That's how mad I got. Because I thought that was false advertisement. And they go out, and then Scar King is riding Shimo like a horse. Which lets us know they're out. They're out for us. Oh wait, I forgot another thing. During the night, Godzilla has gone like all supercharged mode, and basically he's like all blue. It's like a blue thermo Godzilla. Like a blue thermo Godzilla. And he starts pulsating and destroying a bunch of stuff. Because he ate a lot of stuff from the power plant. So now he's like insane, like a blue thermo Godzilla. And basically, Godzilla explodes, and that causes him to be very destructive and destroying a lot of buildings. So RIP to anybody who's in those buildings. And then Godzilla, like a day later, Godzilla is still in that crazy form, in that crazy blue form that he was in. We've gotten very close to that form, but it's just that we haven't gotten close enough. We've gotten close and close and close and closer and closer. But then again, we still didn't. And basically, Godzilla oh shit. This live stream is almost an hour long. I mean, it makes sense. And then Godzilla goes into the water, because he's going to this place that is extremely radioactive. And basically, it has the capability of, Godzilla goes over to that place. Why do I keep on clicking on it? Godzilla goes over to there and finds out that there's a lot of radiation. So, but here's the problem. Tiamat, one of my favorite monsters, Tiamat, is actually, like, having that radiation. And basically, okay, shit, my fucking, fuck. um, Tiamat starts like battling against Godzilla, tying him up, but then Godzilla shoots his atomic blast and then kills her, basically. And Tiamat is basically dead in shambles in the water. And basically, Godzilla basically freezes up. And then, like, a few hours later, he, like, bursts out of the ice and then starts, like, he starts destroying. Like, he starts, going around. And then he sees that Kong with the Beast Club, because he came up on land, and he's letting know that Godzilla, there is radiation here, or there is like this radioactive portal here, and we're gonna need to jump in it. So basically, but Godzilla thinks that this is like that Kong is trying to seek smoke with him, like wants to fight him or something, and basically. Fuck. Godzilla is basically like battling against Kong until Kong knocks him the hell out. And then Godzilla gets up and then starts shooting his atomic blast, trying to scare Kong off. And because Kong tried dragging him into the portal, Kong almost dies until Mothra saves him. Because of course, plot armor. Mothra saves Kong. And Kong then gets up, and Godzilla gets up too. They realize that they both have to battle. Because they have a massive threat that they need to fight against. They have a problem. They got a problem with someone, or with some creatures. And basically, Kong and Godzilla go down. Meanwhile, Scorking and Shimu are like trying to basically cause another ice age. And then Shimu and Godzilla battle. And Kong and Scorking battle. And then both of the two battle against each other. So Scorking tries to stab him, Kong with the axe, but the Beast Glove blocks that out. And then they're basically battling until there's this portal that starts like taking them out of the Hollow Earth and then onto the surface world. Scorking then convinces, when they get there, or when they both get there, Scorking uses the crystal to try and cause another ice age. And then, but then Shima doesn't stop because Godzilla blasts her. Then when they get up there, all Godzilla can do against Shima is just tackle and distract. Kind of just distract Shimo. And then, when they're fighting for quite some time, Scar King, when Scar King tries to whip Godzilla, Godzilla actually catches the whip and then breaks a crystal on the tip of the whip, basically breaking it, and then Suko actually takes and Kong's axe and then smashes it. And then this sets them free. Godzilla at that point is like all supercharged and like this supercharged sort of form. And then it's then over for Scar King. Because Scar King at this point is cooked. Because Shimo is no longer under Scar King's control, so she won't listen to Scar King anymore. Scar King is then stopped, because then Kong... Oh, are you playing Giga Bash? No, this is not Giga Bash. This is actually Godzilla Day Kaiju Battle Royale. This game I'm playing. It's not Giga Bash. And my phone's about to die. I do these things on my phone as well. Just letting you know. And basically, the Scar King is stopped because then Kong throws Scar King at Godzilla. Godzilla hits him like a ball, and then Scar King goes straight back to Kong, and then Scar King he's underneath Destroyer. I know. But I can't. I'm not going to be playing. Then Scar King is then stopped by Shimo. Then stopped by Shimo because Shimo freezes Scar King, and then Kong looks at Scar King with the dirtiest look and then smashes him into a million pieces on the floor, and then jumps up in the air while doing it like a basketball player. Which I think is just, okay, that's just... Oh yeah, I do see Bacon. And then that is the end. Or not really, because then it shows like Shimo and Kong bonding, and then Shimo is like getting chin scratches from Kong, like a dog, basically. And that's the end of Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire preview or review. Hope you guys enjoyed. My phone is dying, so I got to get off of here. I was filming that. I had to support my phone with a cup. No, that actually sucks. That actually sucks. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I will make more reviews like this. Anyways, peace out. I'm out of here, man. Oh yeah, the reason why I am underneath Destroyer is because I want that to be the next villain in GXK. Anyways, keep on watching, Bacon. Keep on watching my videos, and I hope you enjoy them. Anyways, I'm out of here. how do I end the stream? Um, I'm trying to end the stream.